What's up, guys? Welcome back to Press Y. My name is Kelton Burns. And who am
My
I?
name.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
No. Who am I joined by today?
Hi, it's me, Cameron Donahoe, gamer extraordinaire.
Cameron's jumping at the bit today.
Sorry,
So, yeah.
I'm just very eager to talk to Kelton about video games.
Let's get into today's episode. So, starting off with a small little piece of news that I thought was interesting personally. The PlayStation 5 has saw its first ever discount. This is coming from Monoprice. It dropped the cost down to $449, so $50 off. This is just the first time that the console has gone on sale. It's never really needed to go on sale, I don't think, before now. I don't even think it needs to go on sale now necessarily, but this sale saw it sold out and saw a spike in sales. So, yeah, the PlayStation 5 seeing its first price discount 3 years after release. Thought that was kind of interesting.
I think that's fucking awesome. I mean, that's a huge win for just all the gamers who are right on a budget, you know?
Also,
Honestly, I recommend just going and stealing your PS5, right? I feel that way it's just free.
I do not sponsor that recommendation.
Why not? Why not, man? You don't openly endorse crime?
I don't. No.
Ah, come on. We got to rise up. Come on, let's eat the rich together.
I have a feeling that this sale is coming or came because we're on the verge a year or two away from the PS5 Slim and maybe PS5 Pro. But yeah, $449. If you don't have a PS5, buy one. I know people are still waiting to buy this console. It's my favorite console I own right now. Can't recommend it enough.
Honestly, whenever I'm on the fence of buying a console, this is the exact moment that I wait for. The drop in price right before the next model comes out. Because I, like, every time I play a console, like, I've never been like, man, I really need that fucking PS4 Pro or the whatever Pro. You know, I like.
Can't relate.
It's
Cameron.
nice, huh?
I was a PS4 Pro purchaser.
Really, and you had a PS4 as well.
I did.
Why?
Red Dead 2 was coming out. The only way to play it in 4K was if I bought a 4K TV and a PS4 Pro, and I did that. I did just that. I bought both those things. But yeah. I think the PS5, if the PS5 Pro does ever come out, it'll have 8K support. I'd have to buy an 8K TV for that. Maybe GTA 6 will motivate me to make that plunge.
I mean, this could be a hot take. This could be just a me thing, but me personally, man, like, I rarely like need that updated model that gives me like slightly better graphics, where I'm willing to just drop like a whole nother fucking bag of change on an entire console. You know what I mean? That's why this for us more frugal gamers, man. This is the time. This is our time in the sun.
This is the time. Well, whether you guys are waiting for the next console or whether you're
Unless you
looking
go out
for
and steal
a
your PS5 like me.
discounted console, the times are coming in. And on the topic of new consoles, according to a new report from VGC, which cited anonymous development sources, a new Nintendo console is coming in the second half of next year. According to VGC, some key partner studios have already received their development kits for the device, whatever the next console is going to be. This console will reportedly be playable as a portable device, similar to the Switch, and will support cartridge-based games. It will feature an LCD screen, not an OLED screen, and Polygon has pointed out that this aligns with a Bloomberg report that recently stated that that Sharp is manufacturing LCD screens for a new unannounced gaming console. Nintendo president Shuntaro Furukawa has said that Nintendo hopes to provide a smooth transition from the Switch to the new console. It is unclear whether the next console will be backwards compatible with the Switch or whether it will be called the Switch 2 or whatever it will be. We don't know that yet, but it looks like this, whatever the sequel to the Switch is, the next bag of tricks is coming from Nintendo maybe next year in the second half. And
Interesting.
I think it's about time for the next Nintendo console. I think the Switch, when I like, it's interesting because the first game I played on the Switch was Breath of the Wild. Absolutely adore that game. And then the last game I just played on the Switch was Tears of the Kingdom. Absolutely adore that game. But in both those games, it feels like it's pushing that device just to its absolute maximum capability. And I would like to see a more stronger next-gen device with those developers.
I totally agree. Yeah, I have absolutely adored my Switch, and I think I've gotten my money and more out of it for sure. But it's just like it really shows its capabilities like the second you try to play a ported game or you play one of these newer games and they just like it is just barely hanging in there. And like it is kind of a bummer because I feel like a lot of people kind of got a little scammed buying these ports expecting to have the same gaming experience because they're like it's advertised as like, oh, it's you can play The Witcher on here, you can play The Outer Worlds on here. It's just like playing on the console. And if you're playing undocked and you're playing The Witcher or Outer Worlds, it looks horrible and it plays horrible. So I think it is time for a new console for sure. What are your like for your what's your like dream new Nintendo console? Where do you want them taking this?
Well, I think I'm in a unique place where I don't ever play my Switch docked. I actually don't even know where my dock is. I lost that thing a while back. I've never played a game on my Switch docked. So
Dude,
Nintendo,
I recommend it. It's great.
Nintendo continues to be a handheld device for me, coming off the 3DS and the DS Lite or whatever. My long chain of handheld Nintendo games. So I'm glad that it sounds like it's gonna have that handheld capability. It'd be cool if they have a way for it to be go on the TV for those gamers who only play it on their TVs. You know, I want them to have their plug as well. But I do like that instead of having the handheld console and the home console, it's kind of cool just having it all in one. I like that the Switch provided.
I'm honestly a little sick of them having to like trying to have their cake and eat it too. Like they're trying to make this console that is valid as a handheld as well as one that is like a sit down stationary console. And it's very clearly just being used as handheld. I could be wrong here, but the vast majority of every person I've talked to about their Switch plays it like a handheld. I think they should really just dedicate their time like a majority like that how they've done in the past, like dedicate one team to making a good handheld because they're clearly very good at it, and then one team making a very dedicated stationary console. They've shown that they can be incredible at both, you know, and like instead of like dividing their strengths amongst, they can like build on the ones that make it good rather than like not making it strong enough to be like a traditional console but still be handheld. I don't know, man. I feel like they have potential to make two incredibly great consoles here without dividing any of their value, you know?
Yeah, I can see what you're saying for sure on like, you know, instead of spreading it out, have two strong options. But I feel like having it all on one console for either people who want to play at home or want to play handheld makes it so that you don't have to choose between the two when you're buying a console for those more frugal gamers out there who don't want to buy like a Wii U and a 3DS. And if you wanted to play the new Legend of Zelda that just came out, it's like, oh, well, it came out for Wii U and I have a 3DS, I can't play that. It's like with the Switch, you know, no matter what Nintendo game is coming out, as long as you have this singular one device, you can play that game. So,
I agree. I just think it's causing like them to hold back on what they are able to do with their games because it has to deal with the limitations of the hardware. And I think so long as they have this kind of like Switch format, they're always going to have to deal with that, and they're never going to be on the cutting edge of performance, I guess. As well as like they've shown that they can do really interesting and cool mechanical things with a stationary console. I mean, the whole like Wii is built around that concept, and so it'd be cool to have them like really flex their bag about like with that kind of format, you know.
It's interesting that this is reminding me, I was just reading an article on how Gotham Knights is gonna only run at 30 frames per second on consoles, despite being a PS5 and Xbox Series X/X exclusive, and developers pointed to the Series S as being an albatross around the neck of production that is kind of sparking frustration for developers, where they have to make sure the game can run on the Series S.
Who fucking wrote that? Robert Frost? Jeez, what kind of metaphor game is that? That's wild.
Another said, "This generation of gaming is being hamstrung by that potato." These quotes are coming from Lee Denevald from Rocksteady. Yeah.
This guy is in the stew, bro.
It's kind of reminded me of like the Xbox Series X and S. You know, you kind of have a similar situation here where you have a truly next-gen console that stands neck and neck with the PS5 with the X. And then you have an S, which is kind of like a mid-step, not all the way next-gen, still kind of has its foot in the past, but can run every game that the X can run. But that's putting a lot of technological limitations on developers and what they can have their games be running. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting debate there. But I feel like, Cameron.
Thanks, man. I'm glad someone hears me. I feel seen.
You are heard and seen.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, man.
I wanted to look at the latest financial report from Nintendo, which revealed their top 10 highest selling Switch games since the console came out. And I was kind of wondering, Cameron, if you could guess any of these top 10.
Highest ever selling Switch games?
Top 10 highest selling Switch games.
Oh, fuck. Do I get a treat if I get them?
Nah. You just get
kind of treat motivated.
Bragging. You get bragging rights.
Oh, yes. A metaphorical treat. Let's see here. The highest selling... I'm going to go with Breath of the Wild, obviously. I'm going with Mario Odyssey. Get those big hitters out of the way. I want to say some JRPG. I want to say, like, I think Dragon Quest did pretty big.
This is your first wrong answer.
Okay, no Dragon Quest on there. Oh, fuck, man. Well, like, what percentage of these are just like Mario?
Let's see. Out of the top 10, like Mario's in the game, or it's like a Mario game?
It's like Mario is in the name of the game. That includes like Mario Party, Mario Kart. Smash. Smash is clearly up there.
40% of these games have Mario in the name.
That's what I'm saying, man. Okay, so Mario Kart, the newest Mario Party, Smash, I'm gonna show me Luigi Mansion 3.
All right. You've guessed like over 50%, but how about just try to guess the top 3?
I'm gonna say Mario Kart. I'm gonna say Smash, Breath of the Wild, and Mario Odyssey.
One of those is correct. The highest selling Switch game of all time is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which I thought it was interesting because this game originally came out in 2014 for the Wii U and then was re-released in 2017 for the Switch. But yeah, 55.46 million units, which puts it 13 million, which is significantly higher than the second highest selling Switch title, which is Animal Crossing New Horizons. This came out in 2020.
Animal Crossing. What am I thinking?
A new Mario Kart game is overdue.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. I mean, that was a Wii U game, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It originally came out in 2014.
I mean, technically, Breath of the Wild was a Wii U game too, as well.
That's true.
Those aren't even Switch exclusives.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo... Dude, I should have thought of Animal Crossing because, like, once the fucking plague came around, everyone was trying to get a little bit of cute and cozy outdoorsy time with Animal Crossing with their friends. is a perfect pandemic game, basically. So that makes a lot of sense why that was the top 3.
I'm just going to run through the rest of these games. So it goes Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Super Mario Party, The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, which is another Wii U re-release.
That is nuts. That is nuts that there's so many Wii U games in the top 10. I mean, it just goes to show that, like, that console was fucking awful. I mean, I guess it just was horribly marketed because clearly there was good games, but people were just not playing them.
Yeah. I don't know anyone who bought a Wii U, and now it's like impossible to find one.
Score, as it should be. They should. I bought them all and I buried them in a very big hole. That's why it's so hard to find them. Because I'm good at hiding my holes.
I bought the Wii U Animal Crossing game just to own it. I've never played it though.
That's such a weird thing to buy something.
That's the kind of person you're dealing with, buddy.
We're very different. Like, we budget how we spend our money on video games very differently.
I'm holding a pen in my hands right now that is also a knife.
That's sick, man. I'm not holding a pen that's also a knife. So I mean, who's to say who's smarter with their money? I guess.
On the topic of money and financial information,
yeah.
Capcom's recent report has revealed that Resident Evil 2 Remake has overtaken Resident Evil 7 to become the highest selling Resident Evil game in franchise history. I think this is awesome because Resident Evil 2 Remake is phenomenal, and I didn't even realize that Resident Evil 7 was the previous title holder there, which is my favorite Resident Evil game. So just big wins all around that 2 of the best Resident Evil games are selling well.
You want to hear a little naughty secret, Kelton?
I guess, Cameron.
I've actually never played a Resident Evil game, not even once.
You should start with 7.
That's interesting because every time I've talked about like not seeing a movie series, they're like, "Dog, you should watch the 7th one first." That's where that's where you should really start your time.
Well, I say 7 because 7's like a soft reboot and it's very unrelated to the rest of the series. There is like a little tie-in where you see a cameo at the very end of the game, but it's a completely new character unrelated to the previous lore. So I think it's a good entry point. And it's also, I really like the Louisiana swamp horror-esqueness. It's first person, which is different. And then if you wanted to hop into Resident Evil 2 Remake after that, I think that's another really good jumping into point because they didn't fully remake 1, but the 2 remake is pretty accessible, and it's another good entry point where you get introduced to a new cast of characters that, that eventually throughout the Resident Evil lore do become mainstays and huge, like, characters within the franchise, but you meet them for the first time in the second game. So
that's cool,
I would say both of these games, good entry points.
I definitely I've seen a lot of like trailers and gameplay, and I've seen friends play these games and whatnot. They never like really hooked me until Resident Evil 7. And with the new kind of like remakes that have been going on, with Capcom being so successful with their just almost every game they've been releasing in the past like 5 years, just making nothing but really good titles, it's made me want to play these remakes and made me want to dive into this, give Resident Evil a bit of a shot. So I'll give you. I'll definitely take you up on that. I'll definitely have to play some Resident Evil 7 at some time.
Do it, man. That'd make me very happy. On the topic of happiness, Hasbro and Activision are not happy with each other because during San Diego Comic-Con, a Hasbro spokesperson was asked about the idea of re-releasing older Transformer games. They responded that Activision has lost the code for these games amidst their many acquisitions. And in response, Activision CCO Lulu Chang Messervy took to Twitter in response to say they never lost the code and that those claims are all false. So yeah, I don't know what the deal is with all that, but maybe we'll see some old Transformers games coming to Game Pass or PS Plus soon. Because I guess
that'd be cool.
The code is out there. I had never really played. I think maybe I played a Transformers movie like licensed game when one of the first Michael Bay movies came out.
That sounds awful.
You know, I remember getting what I paid for. I got to run around, big robots.
I know there's like one fairly recent Transformers game that was like really cool. I think it's Transformers Devastation. It's got like a pretty unique art style. I'm pretty sure this is the one. I remember it getting like really good reviews and really interesting me. But that's literally the only Transformer media outside of the movies that I've been like, oh man, I gotta get into this for sure. I guess I've never read the comic books, but yeah, I've never really been a big Transformers nut, unfortunately.
Me neither. I did read one comic run that was a Ghostbusters Transformers crossover comic, and there's like a ghost Autobot or something.
That's sick.
Yeah, it was interesting.
If you were to release the next Transformers game, what kind of game is it?
What kind of game is it? Maybe like a racing game, like a battling racing game.
Oh, dude. That's a genius idea. That'd be sick.
Yeah. I feel like that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool. You could like, oh, if it was like Burnout, dude. If they made a Burnout but Transformers, I would play that immediately.
$1 million idea, folks. There you go. Me and Cameron. Yeah. Credit us.
You're welcome.
Next topic. Baldur's Gate 3 sex. Let's get back into it, Cameron.
Yes,
Baldur's Gate 3 was just released on PC this week. It's coming soon to PS5 next month. In the game, love and sex are a big part of the story. We previously talked about how you can have sex with druids while they're in bear form or whatever. Mm-hmm. But this game's co-op. You can play with up to 4 of your friends.
Bro, you can pipe down the homies? Let's go.
You cannot engage in private moments with your fellow co-op players. You can, in the game, toggle whether there is nudity in your cutscenes or whatever, genitals being visible or not.
Very interesting.
And by default, it hides your private moments from your fellow co-op party members. So like if me and you were playing and I engaged in the bear sex, it would by default hide that moment from you. You wouldn't see it happen. I would see it happen. But I could go in my menu and choose to share my private moments with you. And then you would be able to see the shenanigans I'm getting up to with the NPCs if you so desired.
That is a weird amount of that's an interesting amount of customizability with the sex mechanics of this game that not a lot of studios are willing to put the thought and time into. So I respect that. Lariat, that's who made it? Or wait, it is Lariat, right?
I believe so.
Larian.
So if we're playing together, you sharing your private moments, Cameron, or you are keeping those to yourself?
I mean, I feel like it's almost weirder to keep it to myself, because it's not like I don't need. It's not
just two bros
need it for
sitting
myself.
In silence, watching your character bang a bear.
It just seems kind of like a lose-lose situation. If I'm sharing this with people, they know I'm sharing it. If I'm keeping it myself, it seems like there's some kind of secret that I'm trying to keep here.
I gotta go on my phone. Cameron's having a private moment.
I don't know, man. I might just like keep my head down and try to not fuck as many. I'm trying to fuck the least amount of bears as I can on my first playthrough at the least. Maybe I'll have a bear fucking run.
Cameron's been sitting over there with that speech bubble above his head next to the bear for a really long time.
That's so weird.
I wonder what's going on. Yeah, I'm excited for Baldur's Gate 3. I don't know if I'm going to play it co-op. It sounds like it would be a really fun game to play co-op, and I love playing through co-op campaigns. So maybe that'll be up next on the Kelton playlist.
It's weird that you say that because this is one of the first games in a very long time where I've been genuinely excited to run it strictly co-op through like a campaign.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is one of the few games in a very long time where I've been like, man, this is wildly different with my boys than with just by myself. So I think there's a lot to be had here with a co-op run. Personally.
There's lots of stuff to be had in this game.
Yes. A very, very fleshed out game, that's for sure.
On to the next piece of flesh. Video Games Chronicle. Now this is a loosey goosey little piece of news here, okay? There's like a lot of A lot of loosey-goosiness going on here. Video Games Chronicle has reported that a Reddit user who has been verified by the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit to be a former Virtuos employee has claimed that Virtuos is working on an Oblivion remake using the Unreal Engine 5, slated for a 2024 or 2025 release. Now, take that with an absolute grain of salt, guys, but I really like Oblivion. It's one of my favorite games I've ever played. I actually am... the hot take that I like Oblivion more than Skyrim, and that might just be because I played Oblivion first, and so just experiencing that Elder Scrolls world for the first time and how amazing all that is. I experienced that all with Oblivion, so when I went into Skyrim, it was like, okay, I already know what's going on here. I already know, like, I need to find the Thieves Guild or the Dark Brotherhood first. Like, I had played through Oblivion several times, too, so it was like, I was going in more of a veteran, so Skyrim didn't have the new shiny coat of paint that I'm sure that it has for some people who hop into Elder Scrolls for the first time with that game. So I'm really excited for Oblivion Remake. I would love to try to feel that feeling again and explore that little piece of Elder Scrolls, because I think it has a lot to offer, and I really liked the story overall. Did you ever play Oblivion?
Yeah, I did. I played Oblivion. I really, really liked it. But I also played it at like such a young age. Like the time gap in between when I played Oblivion and when I played Skyrim was so significant that
I was 11.
Yeah, and I was probably like 15 or so when I played Skyrim. It's so wildly significant that like it was like it's almost unfair to compare the two, because I was like so fucking young and dumb playing Oblivion, being like, oh my god, this is like one of the first rated M games I've ever played. It was like way, 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 way too many new things for me to like judge it fairly, you know? So I want to, like, I've gone back and like given a couple run throughs and stuff, and it's just like, I don't know, man. It definitely, it doesn't seem to quite scratch that itch that that Skyrim does for me personally. I don't know what it is. It might just be that it looks like Skyrim already looks kind of bad nowadays, and then Oblivion just takes it to a whole other level. I don't know. I just there's a disconnect there for me for some reason.
Well, maybe this game will look nice when if it is remade, if any of this is even real.
Well, yeah, but it's not. It's more so like it's less. Obviously, just the graphics is a really big deal, but it's like the blocky voice acting and kind of like janky way you just go about the world and whatnot, and like the people just don't feel like people. They like very much so feel like fucking video game characters, and that definitely like takes me out of it quite a bit.
I can see where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm. And that's just kind of how a lot of Bethesda games were back then. It's just like it wasn't very like I want to say like organic, I guess, like more natural feeling dialogue and whatnot.
I hope that Elder Scrolls 6 is even less like that. Like, I hope they make significant steps in that department as well.
I hope it gets jankier, personally. I hope everyone's just T-posing and flying everywhere. When they talk, you get like that DSL connection sound. That'd be sick.
Before we get out of here, because we're nearing the end, I wanted to do this little thing where I looked at what game came out this month 20 years ago. But 20 years ago, in August, all we got was Madden NFL 2004. So I decided to go 25 years ago. And you know what we got, Cameron? Madden NFL 98.
Oh.
But we also got GoldenEye 007, Shadow Warrior, Mega Man X4, and Imperialism. So 25 years ago, in 1998, they were served a banger dish of games, especially compared to 20 years ago.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell
so yeah, guys.
Yeah.
Now you guys have that little information of what happened,
Word.
What games were released 25 years ago.
Hey, that's
all
almost when I was born. Kind of.
Almost kinda. Well, guys, thanks for joining us.
1 year and like 5 days away.
This is episode 4.
Episode 4, baby. We fucking did it.
And a little bonus announcement. Me and Cameron will be at PAX West, and we are going to be interviewing a lot of developers and stuff there, and hopefully we'll be bringing you guys some cool little scoops.
Yeah, the spiciest scoops.
So yeah, awesome. Have a good week, guys. Thanks for tuning in again.
Goodbye, gamers.
See you next time.
Sleep nice. Sleep tight. Sleep hard. Stay hard, gamers! Who's gonna carry the boats?